Alright guys, this is it. This Space Wolf Assault Intercessor is the last piece in the first founding puzzle. So while I was getting this set up, I had a nice little notification. We got another subscriber. Thank you to all you guys who have subscribed. I really do appreciate it. If you want to keep up with this project and the other things I'm doing, go ahead and hit that bell. But enough of that, let's go paint an intercessor. Time to get this project laid out. As I said before, last one. For all of you that haven't seen this before, this is the first founding. I'm doing one Marine from each of the Loyalist first founding chapters. To get started with the painting, I'm doing Stynylrez black primer. This is my favorite. It goes down nice and smooth, dry as matte. After that, I'll start doing a zenithal, adding white to that black and going from the top. Then for the armor, I'm using my thinner, a dark warm gray, and nice blue from Pro Acryl. This is going to all get mixed together, tossed around, and laid over that model in a nice thin coat. I'm trying not to obscure that zenithal that I put down, just get some nice color coverage. Here I actually added a little bit more of the gray to darken that down, and I'm shooting only from the bottom. So the midtones and the upper surfaces are not getting any of this. Then for the upper surfaces, I'm adding a little bit of white and just lightening that up. After that, I felt like I'd gone too far, so I did some midtone again. Then I grabbed my initial color that I had mixed up, which I had saved in here, added a little bit of white to it to get a nice highlight, and came and put that on real sparingly just on the upper surfaces where that sun would hit. The end result of this is a nice, really striking armor. And obviously this is going to get dulled down later, and even this matte coat that I'm putting down in order to protect and preserve that airbrush paint is going to dull it down. And in order to speed the process up, I stepped across the room, grabbed my hairdryer. Just if you're going to do this, make sure you use the low temp setting. You don't want to fry that paint. Just dry it out. That's looking good. Let's head back over to the painting desk, grab my brush, and start getting to work. First thing's going to be this chest eagle. I'm starting out with Pro Acryl Copper. It's going to be in my base color. Later on it's going to get modified up and down in tone. From there I'm going to jump over to the left shoulder pad. I'm starting out with this red so that I can get that nice solid base down. It's going to eventually be yellow. I'm going to have to work up to that. Yellow doesn't cover blue so well. Another option would have been to mask this off and airbrush it again, but since I already had my brush out, just figured I'd do it this way. I'm now grabbing that same warm gray that I used in the base coat for the armor and putting that on the joints, putting it on the holster, and then on the weapons. You can see here I'm also doing a little bit of quick dirty wet blending on that pistol just to get some emphasis and some interest on there. After that, I'm going to grab black and put it into all the recesses on the grip there. After that, we'll take a quick trip down to light umber. This is just going on the couple purity seals that he's got, not making much of an appearance in this project. Then grab bold pyro red. This is going to be used for those wax purity seals. It's going to go on the chain sword, and I'm going to use it on that right shoulder. You can see I actually went all the way down to a burnt red on here, and that bold pyro red is going to be a highlight on the upper surface where the light would hit. A little more touch up with silver. This is going on the gun barrel, on the magazine, and then I'm using it as a dry brush basically across the chest eagle, and then moving over to the teeth on the chainsword, getting a nice base coat on those. Then, since I've tinted that up on the eagle, I need to darken it down and shade the recess, so I'm mixing a little bit of black into my copper. Moving on from there, I'm going to start a little bit of initial edge highlight. This isn't going to be comprehensive, it's not going to be everything. It's just going to get the basics in there. For this, I'm mostly focusing on that holster, some of his pouches, the belt, the joints, and then up on his bolt pistol itself. And how about that bolt pistol, huh? 18 inches? Thing's making this guy viable. Alright, time to grab the Nuln Oil. This is the gloss variety. I'm using this because I don't want it to stain the surface. I don't want it to shade that color down too much. I don't want it to get dark. I just want to get this into the recesses and get a nice tone on the armor. Once that's had time to set up a little bit, I'm going to come back in with some thinner, go across the backpack where I don't want it, and then come in, and where you can see this most distinctly is on the shoulder pad. Right here you can see the line where that Nuln Oil is getting stripped off and leaving that nice bright yellow shoulder pad underneath. A little bit more edge highlighting, this time on the purity seals. That Nuln Oil really dulled them down, so now it's time to punch them back up. Then I'm coming back over to the holster. I've already got slashes on there, so now I'm going to stipple. I'm going to start with a gray, do a little bit of white, and then the final stippling is going to be a black, just to help blend it back in. Throughout this entire series, I've had a really good time. I've enjoyed all these different paint jobs. White Scars was a little rough. That one's tough, but I still learned a lot from it. Time for a little bit more edge highlight and some thick white slashes. These are just tricking your eye into thinking that it's worn and damaged. And from there, it's on to the most tedious, time-consuming, rewarding part of the model. This edge highlight's about 3 parts white to 1 part blue. I don't like to use pure white. Maybe a little bit in the extreme highlights, but overall it glares a little too much. From there we're going to battle damage. This is just simply a white slash with a black slash on the upper surface. That black slash is just mimicking the shadow that would be there if some of that armor was scraped away and you left a little trench. That light that was coming from the top would get blocked by that line. And now, on to freehand. This one worried me a little bit because it's fairly intricate. But just like anything else, the best way to do it is just to do it, right? So I started out with the outline, then I came back in, filled in that outline with black, and then grabbed the original yellow that I used for the shoulder pad, put in the mouth, the eye, and the dots up on the snout. After that, it was just back and forth, using yellow and black to push that design one way or the other until I was happy with it. And after everything is said and done, one more coat of matte varnish, and here's how he looks. I was really hoping my Blood Angels were going to be the last model, and I get to cap it out with that, but I'm really happy with this being the final touch. Hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making the model. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and throw them down below. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.